Thanks for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about how to shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And if you don't know me, I'm Caroline Castrillon. I'm the founder of Corporate Escape Artist. I'm a coach that helps corporate professionals transition to starting their own businesses so they can finally feel that freedom and flexibility and creativity that they've been longing for so many years. Today, we're going to talk about how to shift from scarcity to abundance. And, you know, one of my favorite quotes is, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." And it's so true. In one of my previous blogs, I talked about how mindset is really the number one thing that I see preventing people from shifting to starting their own businesses. And mindset is really everything. It's the key to success, whether you're talking about sports or business or just life in general. And there's a lot of data and research to back that up. Carol Dweck, a Stanford psychologist, actually has written books and done a lot of research around this. And she looked at school-age children, and she found that the kids that had a growth mindset, in other words, they believed that their intelligence could be developed, ended up doing better in school and were able to better overcome academic obstacles than those kids who had a fixed mindset. In other words, they thought that their intelligence was predetermined. And in another totally separate study done out of Yale and Miami, they looked at middle-aged adults and they looked at their attitudes towards aging. The ones that had positive attitudes towards aging actually ended up living 7.5 years longer than those who didn't have positive attitudes towards aging. So basically, your attitude and your mindset can prolong your life, essentially, and there's data to back that up. So what do these terms even mean, scarcity and abundance? These are terms that were coined by Stephen Covey in his famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And what he meant by a scarcity mindset is those people that look at life in terms of a fixed pie. So if one person takes a big chunk of that pie, then that leaves a lot less for the rest of us. But an abundance mindset believes that there's plenty to go around for everybody. So really, you know, how do we develop going from a scarcity to an abundance mindset? Well, one thing that we have to consider is most of us are conditioned to have a scarcity mindset because in the corporate world, we're used to raises being scarce, promotions being scarce, managers hoarding information, and companies generally having very short-term thinking. So guess which mega successful company out there practices an abundance mindset? Yes, you guessed it, Amazon. Not surprising. So Amazon practices an abundance mindset. I have a great quote from Jeff Bezos in my blog on corporateescapeartist.com, which you'll see later on today. But basically what he says is what differentiates Amazon is the fact that they're customer-centric, they're innovative, and they are long-term in their thinking. And most companies don't have all three of those things combined because most companies are short-term thinkers. If there's a project that doesn't yield dividends in 2 or 3 years, they move on. Most companies aren't innovators. They're followers because it's easier and less risky. And most companies aren't customer-centric. They're focused on their competitors. So Amazon is super successful. They have an abundance mindset. So how do we as individuals shift from a scarcity to an abundance mindset? Well, I'm going to give you 5 ways to do that today. The first way is to really focus on what you have. If you've thought even about starting a business, for example, you might have thoughts like, well, I don't have the time or the money. I don't really know how to start a business. I don't even know what I want to do. I don't have any idea. You're focusing all the things that you don't have. That's a scarcity mindset. Instead of thinking of the things that you do have, like, for example, wow, I have 25 years of experience in marketing. That's going to be really useful no matter what business I start. Or I've been working in sales for the last 10 years, developing business contacts all over the world. That's going to be really helpful when I start my new business. Or even if you just got laid off, and let's say you received a severance package. Instead of thinking, oh, this is the worst thing in the world and where am I going to get my next paycheck? Think about how now you finally have the time and the money to sit back for a second and think about what you really want to do with your life. The second thing I would say is start finding people that have an abundance mindset and spend time with them. Attitudes are contagious. And you know those people that have the glass half full mentality, they're positive, they make you feel good, that Their energy just resonates, that abundance mindset. Those are the people that you need to spend time with, the people that are generous with their knowledge and their time, because that's going to help you develop an abundance mindset. You should look at the people that you surround yourself with and think, are these people that I look up to? Tony Robbins has a great quote where he says that the quality of a person's life is really mostly dependent on the expectations of your peer group. So think about that. Think about how, who do you surround yourself with, and are they leading lives that you aspire to? If that's not the case, maybe you need to find different people that do have that abundance mindset that you can surround yourself with. The next thing I would say is really start practicing win-win situations in both your personal and professional life. A scarcity mindset is really all about I win and you lose. So think about the win-win. Sit back and really listen to the other person. Consider what a win-win means to them, and then brainstorm solutions that will allow the both of you to walk away feeling satisfied with the relationship. The next thing I would say is practice gratitude. This is something that's severely underutilized and underestimated, even though there's lots of studies out there that have proven that practicing gratitude does increase our overall well-being. Robert Emmons, who's the world's leading researcher on gratitude, has done numerous studies and found that it does in fact have mental and physical health benefits. It improves the overall effect of happiness, and generally the effects are long-lasting. So it could be as simple as just writing down 3 to 5 things at the end of each day that you're grateful for. Don't forget even the smallest things. Your kids laugh, the smell of the flowers in your garden. Just be grateful for even the small things. And if you really want to practice gratitude, you can start a gratitude journal. A lot of my clients do this and they've had great success. So contact me if that's something you're interested in learning more about. I'll have more on that on my blog on corporateescapeartist.com. And then finally, I would say, and one more thing I want to say about gratitude is there's a great quote which says, if you focus on what you have, you'll always have more. If you focus on what you don't have, you'll never have enough. So just think about that. And then the last thing is really start opening up your mind to the possibilities, because having an abundance mindset is all about looking for inviting more into your life, more opportunities, more resources, more positivity. So if your mind is focused on things like, I can't do this, this is impossible, then any other thoughts that come in to contradict that are going to be completely thrown out. So focus on the abundance mindset, the positive thoughts, and that will help to transition you from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Open your mind up to the possibilities, look at the big picture, and try to develop an expanded awareness, because that's really going to help you. One of the questions I included in my last blog, which if you haven't done it, I challenge you to think about that this week, is if you had all the time and money in the world and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be doing? That's a very thought-provoking question that really invites you to open up your mind to the possibilities. And so those are the thoughts I have for you on scarcity versus abundance. I just want to leave you with one last thought, which is what you believe is what you receive. So please think about that. I really enjoyed talking about this topic today. Thanks for joining. If it resonated with you, please give me a thumbs up or write in the comments any topics that you'd like me to cover in the future. I'm going to be here every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Central on Facebook Live, talking about things that matter to you and relevant topics. So please reach out. And in the meantime, I'll be here next week. So I will see you soon. And thanks everyone for joining. Bye everyone.